If you want to make a GIF in GIMP, you're in the right place. In this video, I'll walk you through the full process step by step, from setting up your animation layers to previewing the motion and exporting a clean animated GIF at the end. This is a great method whether you want to animate text, simple objects, or even turn a set of images into a looping GIF. And before we jump in, if this tutorial helps you out, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more easy software guides just like this one. Alright, let's get started. The first thing you need to do is open GIMP and create a new project. Go up to the File menu and click New. This gives you a blank canvas to build your animation on. Now here's the most important thing to understand. In GIMP, each layer acts like one frame of your animation. That means the layer order matters. GIMP reads the layers from bottom to top, so the bottom layer will be your first frame, the layer above it will be the second frame, and so on. Once your project is open, it's time to create your sequence of frames. There are a few ways you can do this depending on what kind of animation you want. If you're drawing or designing frame by frame, you can create multiple layers by going to Layer and then New Layer. On each layer, paint or paste a slightly different version of your object or movement. This works really well for simple animations where you want the subject to move a little in each frame. If you're animating text or a single object, an even easier method is to duplicate your base layer. You can do that with Ctrl plus Shift plus D. Then use the Move tool, which is M on your keyboard, to shift the subject slightly on each layer. This creates the illusion of motion when the animation plays. The key is to make small changes from one layer to the next so the movement looks smooth when it loops. And if you already have your frames saved as separate images on your device, GIMP makes that easy too. Just go to File, then Import as Layers, and select the frame images you want to use. GIMP will bring them in as separate layers, which means your images are now ready to be turned into an animation. This is especially useful if you created your frames in another app or exported them from a drawing program. Now that your layers are set up, the next step is to preview the animation loop. This is a really important step because it lets you see how the GIF will actually move before you export it. Go to the top menu bar, then choose Filters, then Animation, and then Playback. A separate preview player window will open. Inside that window, click the play button in the top left corner. Your layers will loop as a moving GIF, and you can watch how the animation flows from frame to frame. If something looks off, like the motion feels jumpy or the animation plays backward, don't worry. Just go back to the main layers dialog and rearrange the layer order until it looks right. This preview step saves a lot of time because it lets you catch mistakes before exporting the final file. Now let's talk about file size. This part is optional, but it can make a big difference, especially if you want your GIF to load faster or stay lightweight. GIF files can get very large very quickly, so GIMP has a helpful optimization tool built in. First, close the playback window, then go back to Filters, then Animation, and choose Optimize for GIF. GIMP will analyze the frames and create a new optimized version of your project. What this does is remove unnecessary duplicate background data and keep only the pixels that change from one frame to the next. That means your final GIF can be much smaller without sacrificing the animation itself. If you want the cleanest export, use this newly generated optimized project file for the final step. Now it's time to export your animated GIF. With the optimized project open, go to File and then Export As. Give your file a name and make sure you type .gif at the very end of the file name. For example, you could name it my-animation.gif, then click Export. A settings window will appear for the GIF export. This is where you need to configure a few important options. First, check the box that says As Animation. If you forget this step, GIMP may save your file as a single still image instead of a moving GIF. Next, check Loop Forever so the animation keeps repeating instead of stopping after one cycle. You'll also see a delay between frame setting. This is measured in milliseconds, and it controls how fast the animation plays. For example, 100 milliseconds is roughly 10 frames per second. A lower number means faster playback, while a higher number makes the motion slower. You can experiment a little depending on the style you want. Another setting you should pay attention to is frame disposal where unspecified. Set this to 1 frame per layer or replace. This helps the animation display properly by removing the previous frame before the next one appears. Without this, your frames can stack on top of each other and make the GIF look messy. Once all of that is set, click Export and GIMP will save your final animated GIF. At that point, you've successfully created a GIF in GIMP from your layers or imported frames, and that's the full process. You learned how to build your animation layer by layer, preview the motion, optimize the file size, and export everything as a looping GIF. If this video helped you, please give it a like, subscribe for more GIMP tutorials, And let me know in the comments what software guide you want to see next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.